Hello friends, I'm Akash and this is your News of the Week for the week of June 18th to June 24th, 2023. I'm Akash Cody and we have some very important news to bring to you. First up, the Titan submersible has been destroyed, killing 5 people. Next up, Indian Prime Minister Modi's visit to the United States. And third, the Russian Wagner group launches a paramilitary invasion of Russia, only for a brief moment though. Let's take a look at our first story of the week. On June 18th, 2023, a submersible touring the wreck of the Titanic imploded, killing all 5 tourists on board. The submersible, named Titan, was considered missing for 4 days, with American and Canadian naval forces attempting to search for it until an underwater vehicle found parts of the wreckage. The most likely reason for the implosion was that the pressure hull of the submersible had collapsed under the pressure of the 4,000 meters of water above it, and this led to a catastrophic implosion that killed everyone on board instantly and completely destroyed the sub. Now, Titan was built by a naval tourism company titled OceanGate, whose founder and CEO Stockton Rush was one of the 5 who died in the submersible this week. Rush and OceanGate had previously been criticized for having cut corners in the development of Titan, and the submersible had likely been weakened as a result of several previous dives to the Titanic wreckage. The 5 who died include Shahzada Dawood, a British businessman from Pakistan, Suleiman Dawood, the businessman's son, Hamish Harding, another businessman who had been to space previously, Paul Henry Nargeolet, one of the world's best experts on the Titanic wreck site, and Stockton Rush, the founder and CEO of OceanGate. My condolences to the families of those who passed away, and hopefully events like this will never happen again. So, let's take a look at our next story of the week. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the United States this week on what is considered his first official state visit to the USA. Prime Minister Modi was very well received by President Biden at the White House, who stated that the relationship between the United States and India will be one of the defining relationships of the 21st century. Prime Minister Modi addressed a joint session of the United States Congress, which he had previously done before once in 2016. Prime Minister Modi and President Biden held a press conference at the White House and then went to bilateral talks. The US and India have had a very important relationship over many years, and it has increased especially during the 21st century. India's prominence in the world is growing rapidly, and India has even surpassed China to become the world's most populous country. So I, in my opinion, believe that Prime Minister Modi's state visit to America is more important now than ever before. So let's take a look at our next story of the week. The Wagner Group, a paramilitary organization that had supported Russia during the war in Ukraine, briefly turned against the Russian government and began a small invasion headed towards Moscow. This Wagner group had committed many war crimes in Ukraine, but were the force behind one of Russia's very few gains during the war this year, and that gain is the invasion of Bakhmut. Now, the Wagner Group had close ties with the Russian government for many years, but things swiftly changed over the past 2 years that resulted in the Wagner Group eventually announcing an attack against Russia on June 23, 2023. So, that was the start of a brief mutiny against the Russian state government from within. Wagner troops took over the key city Rostov-on-Don and then headed towards Voronezh and then the capital of Russia, Moscow. But before they could reach Moscow, the head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, signed a deal with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, a Putin ally, and ceased the fighting immediately, thereby ending the rebellion. Yes, this rebellion is short, but it seems to be a key indicator that things are not all completely unified on the side of the Russian government. Infighting is still happening, and the Wagner Group has definitely not ended its issues with the Russian state government. But we'll have to see where things go on that front. And that is all of your news of the week for the week of June 18th to June 24th, 2023. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in another News of the Week. Goodbye.